So it's been a while since Overlord, like a really long time. That's my fault. First things first, I want to apologize for being MIA for so long. Never really gave this series an opportunity to grow. That said, we are going to be retooling it, going in a completely different direction in 2019. But until then, we've got a review roundup to do. Robin Hood. So Robin Hood stars Taron Egerton from Kingsman, Jamie Foxx, and Ben Mendelsohn. And apparently it was directed by an 11-year-old because this movie is terrible. This should have been called Studio Note, A Cautionary Tale, or How Not to Start a Franchise. Honestly, the only reason I can condone watching this movie is to laugh at it with your friends, like together in a group. I don't have anything else to say about this trash heap, so I'm not going to. 2 out of 10. Fantastic Beasts 2, The Crimes of Grindelwald. Now, as somebody who's a massive Harry Potter fan, both books and movies, I was not a huge fan of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I thought it was an okay film that took place in the Wizarding World, but the Wizarding World does not a great movie make. As for this movie, dazzling, fun, confusing, frustrating, confounding, and messy are words that I would use to describe it. If you're somebody who just loves Harry Potter and everything about it, you're going to find things to like in this movie. But if you're looking for a well-executed and well-crafted story that leaves you wanting more, well, it depends on your attention span, honestly. I give this movie a 5 out of 10, just for David Yates' fantastic direction. Aquaman. So James Wan really seemed like an inspired choice. Having done horror with Saw and The Conjuring, and having done action with The Fast and the Furious, that seemed like a really good pairing to make this movie. And he did bring both of those things. But that's about it. There is nothing going on under the surface of this thing, no pun intended. It had me checking my watch. During these big, as great as they look, the visual set pieces, I just checked out. It didn't keep me engaged. And outside of those, everything else was just long scenes of exposition. Nobody really seemed to be bringing their all outside of maybe Willem Dafoe and Patrick Wilson, who really hammed it up and seemed like they were having a good time. But that was not enough for me to have a good time. James Wan was definitely going for cheese in this, but if you're going to go for it, you really got to go for it. And for me, it just didn't make it there. I give Aquaman a 6 out of 10. Bumblebee was directed by Travis Knight, who brought us The Great Kubo and the Two Strings. And a lot was riding on this movie for the Transformers franchise. Now, as somebody who's not a fan of the original Bay films and only saw the first two, I was really hoping that this would be a course correction because I am a fan of the original cartoon. Mostly Dinobots, because I'm basic. That said, this movie was damn near a home run for me. I loved Charlie, played by Haley Steinfeld. The vibe of the movie was dead on. John Cena was pitch perfect in the role he played. And surprisingly, Steven Schneider, an actor I'm really not familiar with at all, was a scene stealer playing Charlie's stepdad, Ron. I know Haley Steinfeld has said she's done with the series, but hopefully they figure out a way to bring back Ron because he was awesome. This movie has drawn a lot of criticism for being comparable to the Iron Giant E.T., but to me, those critiques are just compliments. I think that if you're able to capture that kind of magic in a movie now, you're doing something right. 8 out of 10 for me. Widows. Steve McQueen is not somebody who makes films for everyone. I do love his movies, so I knew what to expect going in, and I was already on board. He co-wrote this with Gillian Flynn, the author of Gone Girl and the Girl on the Train. So this is not going to be a no-holds-barred, adrenaline-fueled thrill ride heist movie. What it is a contemplative, emotional, and powerful movie about race, class, love, marriage, and it handles all of these things with such a delicate hand. It's a movie that asks you to think. But it is not a movie that tells you what to think. Outside of that, excellent cinematography. Steve McQueen's at his finest here. The action, when there is action, is great. The performances are career bests by Viola Davis and Colin Farrell, Liam Neeson, Michelle Rodriguez, Elizabeth Debicki, Lucas Haas, John Bernthal, Robert Duvall. I mean, the cast is incredible, and everybody is at the top of their game. This was my second favorite movie of the year, just under Hereditary and just over Annihilation. I don't know what to say. If you're somebody who likes thoughtful movies that take their time and pay off, then you'll like this. If you're somebody who's disappointed by Hereditary and The Witch, and you thought they were boring and nothing happens, then you're probably not going to like this. Additionally, I want to point out Brian Tyree Henry and Daniel Kaluuya as two characters in this movie, and they are phenomenal. I give this a 9.5 out of 10. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Ever since that first trailer early last year, I've been cautiously optimistic. Phil Lord and Chris Miller were involved. The animation looked amazing. The voice cast was perfect. So this was either going to be something great or the biggest disappointment of the year. I got to see a sneak peek a couple of days before release, and I was blown away. I simply can't think of anything that would make this movie better. Perfect score. It didn't make it into my top 3 films, but it did get a perfect score. This movie's going to have an impact. It's going to inspire the next generation of animators, of comic book artists. It's going to get people involved in storytelling. But not only that, I think it's going to make those same young people look back at what made the older things so great. Just like Mary Poppins Returns, it's a throwback, and it makes you appreciate what came before. So rather than thinking that's old, that's for them, you find what makes those things special, and you apply that, you bring that into the new, fresh take on those things, and I think that's great. 10 out of 10. Like I said at the beginning, we're going to be doing some retooling. We're trying a lot of different things. Going forward, the flash takes are gone. They're going to be called spark reactors. I'm going to try to fit these reviews within a certain allotted amount of time. If I don't do that, there's going to be an arc reactor that melts down, and something bad's going to happen to me. What that is, you can decide that through our Patreon. We may take polls to see how to punish ourselves, but then you'll get another video of that punishment. So if you're interested in seeing more, go ahead and subscribe. Let us know what you thought of the video, and we look forward to seeing you next time.